My pleasure.
Thank you. So, hello and namaste, India and the world. I am super excited today and so happy to introduce and to have here with me a divine messenger who walked into my life at one of the most needed times, like God's guidance. And when I wrote my book, The Door to Confidence Opens Here, I don't know how God sent you to give your valuable words into the book for life. And that is so very valuable for me. I can't tell you, I can't express. So to all, here we have Cynthia Sue Larson, who's given forward for my book, The Door to Confidence Opens Here. And she is herself author of, I think, over 6 to 8 books now. And I think that introduction is very small, huge experience in the field of spirituality. And I am so very happy to be connected here. I have written few words and I would like to read it for everyone. If you are okay, let me introduce you. Cynthia hosts Living the Quantum Dream on the Dream Vision 7 radio network. Am I correct? And
That's
she
right.
was featured on the Discovery Channel, History Channel, Coast to Coast AM, the BBC, presented papers at international conferences on science, spirituality, consciousness. And since 1991, that's huge. She has several findings from scientific research in the field of quantum physics, quantum biology, placebo effect, positive psychology, sociology, and alternative medicine. Popular Easy in Reality Shift is eagerly awaited each month by thousands of subscribers worldwide. Cynthia has a degree in physics from UC Berkeley, an MBA degree, and a Doctor of Divinity. Cynthia reminds us to ask in every situation, how good can it get?
Thank you. That's such a great introduction. So good to see you.
Thank you so much. And I feel so honored and so happy and so blessed myself to be connected to you. Thank you. And let us use the time to everyone. The Door to Confidence Opens Here has 51 keys that walked into my life at the most needed time. Every key, it was not like I went and searched for 1, 2, 3, 4, but when I needed, the key came, walked in my life. And one of the keys in the book is key number 40, Quantum Jump.
Yes.
And that is one of the books by Cynthia. So whatever I have applied, I got the results. But I think we would love to get access to the key from your your end, because that would be like directly from the author. So thank you so much. We would like to know more about it, because in today's time I feel that we all need it. We all need it. Like, we need to practice quantum jump. And whatever I have practiced, I think that has connected me to you. So yes, thank you. Thank you to one of my clients, Vandana Kotecha, who had shared about this book, this beautiful book. And that is how it works. Like, thank you so much. So I can't wait to hear from you. And it's all yours.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, it sounds like, so let's talk about quantum jump, since you brought it up, and it's very near and dear to my heart. And because I have a background in physics, then of course I'm looking at this mind matter interaction from a standpoint of how can we understand it from physics. So that's where the two, I'm very much a mystic as well. So I'm an experiencer of things that people might call miracles that happen regularly for me in my life, very often, like every day. So when that's happening so often, it can sound incredible or impossible. But this literally, when people ask, when you talk about a quantum jump, you mean I can actually change my life in a moment? Yes, absolutely. But there are some things required to do that. So that's where a book like the one that you've written that's so beautiful comes in, because there is some work that people usually need to do to be able to be in a place where you can, as the book suggests, jump from one reality to another. Are we doing it all the time? Yes, absolutely. But usually for such small things that we don't think of it as a quantum jump. It doesn't seem like such a miracle. It's like, that's nothing. That was a synchronicity. That was just, I was lucky. That was beginner's luck, that kind of thing. So that's what it looks like when you first begin to experience this. But the more aligned you are within yourself, which really is to me, the main requirement, that you are all with one objective, one vision, one heart, one mind, one fullness of your being. The more aligned you are, the more you will be able easily to make even very large quantum jumps. That is what's required. So if people want to know, what are we talking about? In a nutshell, this is it. That yes, you can actually become smarter, stronger, instantly healed of almost anything, which these things sound impossible. As I started off saying, that it's going to sound a little impossible when you get to the bigger ones. When you start with the little ones, it sounds like this is ridiculous. Why are we talking about this? But there is an entire spectrum of these experiences. And so rather than judge how we feel about them, it's good to start recognizing that they all start with being grounded and feeling that we're very connected to the earth, which is, again, where I love your book so much, because it shows people, here's how you can do this. These are very simple practices. They're so important. So it's very important to do that. And then once you're grounded, then you can start listening to yourself, hopefully without judgment. Sometimes there's judgment, and then we need to do some more grounding, so just like your book describes. And so this is very important. And then once you've got that, then you can begin to recognize what it is you really love, genuinely, not what someone told you, not what you're supposed to love, but what you actually love. What is it that you actually desire? And here's where most people fall off course. They think that what they desire is to be extremely wealthy and have lots of power, et cetera, et cetera. And what they have missed is that is the awareness that at the highest levels of their being, they don't really care about that. And there's no energy behind it. And there's I'm not saying always, but in many cases where people wonder, I'm trying so hard, I'm visualizing what's wrong, and this is where things can go wrong. So what we're talking about, quantum jumping, is very simple, yet very profound. And it does literally require this full alignment. And this is the part that I'm so glad you understand it so well. And it's necessary. So if people think, I'm going to skip what Pallavi says, we don't have to do all that hard work. No, you do. You do have to do that. And it's not that hard. It's worth it. So I'm so glad you wrote your book, because, and with the pictures and illustrations, it makes it so approachable. So people can really feel like, I can relate to this. I can do these things. And if one thing doesn't work, we'll try another one. You have so many good ideas that way. So. But that's the overview of quantum jumping. So if people know your book, then they good. If they've worked with it, better. And I think you mentioned quantum jumping in your book too, a little bit, right? A little bit.
Yes, I have, and I have used some part of it, and how I understand where people make mistake is missing the expanded emotions and attaching to the current reality, inability to detach with the current reality. And
right.
Then it is a challenge. It is a challenge. It's crazy. But once we are able to practice it, I feel I could tap just 5 to 10% of it, but I could sense the power of it. And that's the reason uh, God guided me to include the key in the book. For everyone, I would take a minute and read your foreword to everyone. Forward with gratitude for you. The door to confidence opens here is a powerful primer for positive thinking. Dr. Pallavi Deshpande's book provides readers with sacred tools for spiritual and energetic transformation. A variety of illustrated exercises provide assistance with finding genuine meaning and purpose, and developing purity of heart and clarity of vision required to make a quantum jump into a happier, healthier, more prosperous life. Thank you so very much for your lovely email and the photos of your beautiful book launch event. I'm honored for you to mention my work in this book, including my www.realityshifters.com website. Cynthia Sue
Yay.
Larson, author of Quantum Jump.
Thank you so much. Yes, and you mentioned the website. That's where it all started for me, going back. And I do love your book so much. Thank you for reading that, because it's so good to hear it. I still feel that way about this endorsement for your beautiful book. It really is such a perfect launch point for anyone wishing to begin their spiritual journey, or if they've already started it, to really finally get some amazing results where they may have felt like, I'm stuck, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, but thank you for mentioning my website also, because that's where my journey began, sharing these reality shifts, these quantum jumps that I've been experiencing, and helping the world recognize that it's a worldwide phenomenon, not something only happening where I live here in Berkeley, California, where I studied physics originally at UC Berkeley. People sometimes call it Berserkly because they make fun of, this is where the hippies were in the 1960s. They said peace, love. And so people make fun of it sometimes, but it's not only in Berkeley that we're witnessing reality shifts and quantum jumps. It's literally happening around the world. And so through my website every month, I publish accounts from around the world for now over 20 years, 21 years, and going strong. Every month, describing where are people noticing these Mandela effects, quantum jumps, reality shifts. These are connected. So if people have heard Mandela Effect, and the whole world is changing at once, we are reaching a time of not just individual spiritual awakening, but cosmic awakening on a global scale. And this is what I feel like my life is all about, my life's passion and purpose. So I love talking about all of these topics, and quantum jumps is making it your own choice of where will we shift to. When you do this with others, you can literally change the world. And that's what's amazing. So we don't need to feel frustrated, frightened, hopeless, or trapped, because we're not. We are much greater than we know, and we can work together, and we do. Just like you and I working together. Before we met, it already feels like we're working together. We still are working together. And people who, you can feel it, yes. So, and we're wearing, look at the colors, same. We did not coordinate our colors. So funny.
I feel so awesome and blessed today. Yes. Yes. Well, I just wanted to share something with you, which is like, that has kept me going whenever I had fear and doubt. I had this angel guidance, the numbers, repeating numbers flashing all the time. And that kept me going. Like, even if I doubted myself, that I felt like the numbers are telling me that go, take that action. You
Yes.
have divine guidance and you're on the right path. And then recently it is like increasing like crazy, wherein I see that the time on my phone, say yesterday, it was like 414. And I see a car passing by with the same number, 414, at the same time. And I just thank God,
Oh, wow.
Okay, let me be There's some message, and I don't know how you connect it to quantum physics, but I feel within that, yeah, something is guiding me. Some.
Well, that has to do with these levels of consciousness that we know that that's true. We know that there are levels of ourselves that are higher, that can see beyond daily life, that can see the big picture, timeless. There's a part of ourselves that knows, yes, Pallavi, this is correct. You're doing great. And it can give you that feedback. And it happens through this entanglement of different levels of consciousness, basically. So just like in our brain, the neurons and the synapses, they talk to each other at different levels. Communication goes up and it comes down. The same thing is happening, not just biologically, but spiritually. And to me, that's what it feels like when I get those number messages, the synchronicities. It just feels like, yes, things are going right. And it's, for me, as in the West, in America, we think that the rational left brain with the analytical thinking, the classical logic, there's a bias in our culture here in America to do that, to think that way. And I think with computers, we have pushed the world to think that way. But actually, it's much better when you're spiritually evolving to trust your heart, to trust your intuition. And so that's very important, to get into that daydream state of mind where you can actually sense possibilities, where you, like you pointed out, the two mistakes people make: they don't get energized and they hang on. You got to let go, because this is very much, it's a quantum property. When you let go, then you've released the material reality. Here you're clutching onto it, and it's a physical material. It's kind of like when you're looking at a particle versus a wave. You're grabbing a particle, but when you let go, you say, okay, I accept whatever this is. I'm just gonna, my favorite question, how good can it get? I like to add, no questions asked. I'm not gonna think it through at all. And then just let it go into that wave state. And that's beautiful, because when you set your intention that way and let go, this is a method for quantum jumping, recognizing that adjacent reality is very real. It exists already. The one that you're dreaming of is right here. It's not that far away. It's right here. And energetically, you can start feeling that energy and let go. And that's the quantum aspect of it. And the levels of consciousness are there to keep us on track. And that's where the energy comes from. If you wonder, where's the energy? That's it. It's that high level of your infinite eternal being, where you're connected to the absolute, where you know that you're a part of all that is.
Super. Yes. And one more thing with angel guidance, I could feel me making mistake is, getting into the identity consciousness or ego consciousness, and then I remind myself that no, it's just a guidance, and the guidance is asking you to stay calibrated. So if you get calibrated to what you were, the numbers, then you are making it too significant. So just take the guidance, let go, say thank you, and stay connected to the higher purpose and what you are up to. Yes, it's like, definitely balancing, like it's taking the guidance and keep flowing like water.
Yeah. And caring, you're so good at caring about people. I can feel how much you care. I just love this about you. Even when I first got emails from you, I felt you're such a genuine person, so heartfelt. And this is so important. So some people think, I don't think you have this problem at all, not at all. But some people, they think, oh, I don't need to thank or thank anyone. No, you definitely want to thank people. So if they give you a clue, and you don't just think, oh, thank you, that was from spirit. You also say thank you to the person, because, and I know you would do this, but some people in America, sometimes they feel rushed, and they don't remember that everything is our relationships. It's everything. Like how I feel about you is everything. How you feel about the people you're connecting with. That's why they love you. I know it, because you're so good at connecting, and that heartfelt connection is so real, so genuine. And that's the real message of why we're here, is to really have reverence for each other and for what we're all doing. Really respect each other.
Thank you so much. Together restore divine order now. That's what comes up for me. Thank you. Thank you so much. And one more question to you. How do people begin. Like in the the whole intention of writing book was I was committing mistake, rather mistake. I was unaware that the influences upon me were so strong that my energy field clogged with all the unwanted, thought forms, and I took it personally, and my self-worth went down. But then when I could cleanse the auric field, when I could cleanse the thought forms, the things automatically started, falling back in place. It became
Yeah.
easier. So I know people around me who get resigned about the whole concept, and they give up. uh, you know Visualizing goals, thinking, and then when you feel that there is a huge gap between what you want and where you are, then you tend to just give up, and then you start blaming uh, the structure, people around you. And I feel that there was a time, if I go back few years, I also went into the same tunnel, but something guided me. Maybe, I always was wanting to find way that, okay, what else can I do, what else can I do, what else can I do, and that's how the keys came into my life. But and hence probably the cleansing part of cleanse, align, seed, and grow, I feel is definitely necessary, because when you cleanse and keep yourself aligned, then what you seed automatically takes you to the needed direction. And with with your guidance, we would also like to understand that when it comes to content jumps, how do you begin? Where what exactly do we do? How many times every day do people need to really, take that jump? How do you understand that, okay, there is a need
Just gonna
to
drink
take
something.
that? I mean, how do you help people do it exactly? It's like huge years of experience that you carry.
Yes. Well, it's such an individual practice, as you know. It is a personal journey, really. I've taught classes as well, but it seems like each person in a class is at their own place. So the first step really is to be your own best friend. I think you demonstrate that by what you're describing with how you wrote your book. You couldn't have done any of it unless you were really there for yourself, asking, Pallavi, how do you feel right now? What do you need? And being that good friend for yourself. That's so important. It's an often underappreciated first step, because if you don't have that, then you can't expect that the process will do it for you, or that someone else will do this for you. It's going to have to be you. Therefore, you need to be your best friend, your cheering section, the one who trusts yourself, listens to yourself, stands up for yourself, does what you need to do as you grow without judging others. Ideally, this would not be any drama. Ideally, there would be no blame for, like, they did this to me. That doesn't really have any good part in quantum jumping. So the first goal is get your team together, and that's really you working with the cosmos. And so you're going to need, and I think that's what's so great when you talk about cleansing and cleaning, because what happens when you are talking to the cosmos, well, that's where it really matters. Because it's just like if you're going to meet face to face with the universe, with oneness, divine source, oh my gosh, and they can see right through you. It's like they know you. So, wow, there's nothing like incentive to really get your everything cleaned out so that you don't bring some dirty version of yourself forward. Ideally, it would be you at your best. So that I totally agree. It's recognizing, what are you living for? It's just asking yourself these tough questions. Like, how are you feeling? What do you need? How are you feeling? What do you need? That's what a best friend asks a best friend. You need to start with yourself and get that rolling, get it going, knowing it's on and you are talking to the cosmos and the cosmos is listening. So this is very important. And just feeling that rush of energy, like, woo, feel it. And then, like, okay, how do I feel? What do I need? This is really where it starts. It has to start there.
Yeah. Got it, got it. Thank you. And I would also want to know about Mandela Effect from you, because that's something,
Oh gosh,
I
yes.
hope you have time here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the Mandela Effect, it's similar to when I first wrote my book, Reality Shifts, early in the 1990s. And that book is another one, just like Quantum Jumps, talking about similar material, but more from the aspect of almost seeming like random changes are happening in your life. Like you put your keys down and then they're not where you put them. You put your phone down, it's not where you put it. And things are moving, things are appearing, disappearing, transforming, transporting. So that's how I started writing about this reality shifts. And when I did surveys on it, surprisingly, the most, I would think people would normally notice this just when they're alone. That's not true. Most of the experiences were when people were with other people. There's something about noticing a change with other people that makes it pop up to your attention. And this is what the Mandela effect is to me. Now, if you look up the definition, Mandela effect, they will say that there was a mass misremembering, false memories related to specifically Nelson Mandela. And people remember that he had died when he was still in jail, in prison. And so that's called a false memory, a collective false remembering by many official news sources. But the truth is, what's really going on with that, the way I see it from reality shifts and what turns out to be hundreds of years of research from other researchers, this is not false remembering, is actually, it's a shift in reality is occurring. This is like a quantum jump, but not the one where you're trying to do it. It's like, what just happened? I know this celebrity was dead. Now the celebrity is alive. I wrote about that in Reality Shifts with the actor Larry Hagman from Dallas and, or Dynasty. Oh yeah, it was Dallas. He played J.R. Ewing. And also I Dream of Jeannie. He was an actor. And so in my book, before there was Nelson Mandela, I talked about Larry Hagman. This happens a lot. And also not just celebrities, but maybe an uncle, someone that you, a neighbor, someone you barely know. And I thought they died and now they're alive again. Yes. So what's happening there? It's exactly what we're talking about with quantum jumps. There are these adjacent possible realities. You can think of them as timelines if you want to, but to me, they curve. It's all very, it's like a fabric. So there are possible realities. And with the Mandela effect, we can collectively quantum jump together. We can collectively shift reality on a global scale. We are doing it already. So an example would be, where do you think the kidneys are? And this is an organ in the body. It's like your heart. These have both moved. The heart is now different. The kidneys have moved for 8 billion people on the planet. And they're both better. They moved to better locations, but they're not where I thought they were. So where would you think the heart, the organ that beats, that pumps the blood in your body, where do you think that one is? If you guess, Pallavi. And you're a doctor, so you probably, I mean, you don't feel judged. It's okay. And there's no wrong answer. Even if you get something and it's different now, me too. So it's okay.
Yeah. So you want me to locate it? Yeah.
Yes.
So it
So you
is
say,
on the left.
exactly.
It's
Thank
on
you.
the
Thank
left.
you. Yeah. I think so too. And it's wrong. I'm cheering because we're both wrong. We're wrong. I know, right? I remember that too. And now our teachers in America would tell the children, like, we're very young children, put your hand over your heart. We now sing a song or pledge allegiance to our national flag. Well, and then they would say, put it over your heart, which is a little bit off the center. It's a little bit to the left, right? And now it's
Yes,
now
the
it's
center left.
now it's exactly in the center, not the left at all. And now it makes no sense that everybody would have said, all the teachers saying, it's your heart is, you can feel it, listen to your heartbeat. I did. It was a little bit on the left. Now it's in the center. It's always been in the center. And that's interesting. It's very balanced now. It's nice that our heart is in the center. It's not off. It's not one way or the other. That's beautiful. What about the kidneys? Do you remember where they are? The kidneys, these are the organs that clear, the tiny little things,
Yes.
2 of them.
Yes, so they are at the center, low back. I mean, that is how when I
I agree, and it's also wrong.
okay, please tell me now.
It's it's always been up inside the rib cage, nice and safe. You know, I do martial arts. So when you box or you do martial arts, we're told do not do a kidney punch. It's very bad. You could hurt someone. Well, lots of punches could hurt someone, but usually when we're pretend fighting, it's not pretend, but we're practicing. We just don't want to hurt someone. You don't want to kill someone. You're not trying to kill someone. You're just trying to practice self-defense, right? So they say, do not do a kidney punch in the lower back. Yes, but that's not where the kidneys are anymore. They are not there. There's no such thing. Now they're up safely up inside the ribs. And even if people do surgery, they come in through the front. Now, what's interesting is doctors who have been working with kidneys all these years, they might say, Cynthia, that's very interesting, but they did not change for me. And that's part of this too. It's a quantum physics aspect of it where we tend, those who are subject matter experts, and every day, looking at the kidneys, that's called the quantum Zeno effect. When you check something so often that it can't move, you can lock a quantum system in place by frequent observation. And so this is how that tends to happen often. And now that's not always true. I have talked to nurses that say, gosh, thank you for saying this. I thought that was so weird. We used to operate on the lower back and now we're operating on the front, but usually it's not a nurse who does this every day. Same thing with Nelson Mandela. People that live in South Africa say, why call it the Mandela effect? He never died in prison. This is crazy. You sound like you're insane. But that's because they're in South Africa. So they're there. So many of them, of course, they're not going to notice it. Maybe they noticed Larry Hagman, that he died and then he was alive again because he's not in South Africa. I don't know. So it's a quantum Zeno effect. So often subject matter experts will tend to lock into their own bubble of reality, what's happening.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a learning for me. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
It is. So how do we apply it in our lives exactly? And how do we take it forward? Is it like being I think I would like to.
I recommend start where you are. So wherever you are, some people are experts. So like if I need something and I know I need it, I can ask for it and it can literally appear. And so that's like miracles basically, but at that level of expertise, you want to make sure you're not misusing your gift. In other words, it becomes more and more important that you are living each day in service to highest good. In my opinion, this needs to be a spiritual practice. Otherwise, it's not going to necessarily end up favorably for anyone. So I recommend for each of us to have in mind all of us. So yes, each of us creates our own reality, but when we do it together and we do it positively, wishing for the best for all concerned, for free will for everyone, for reverence and respect for everyone, with kindness, then we have the possibility of a beautiful future. We need this beautiful future for all of us, not just for some of us, not just for one of us. That's not really so good. And so that's, to me, that's why I ask simple questions each day. I just ask, how good can it get, meaning today? But I also ask, how good can I get? How well can I be in service today to really be the best I can be for all of us? So this is very important. And it sounds so simple. The simple is the most powerful.
Yep. Wow. And what came up for me from your sharing is that we be open to other people's world, because what may seem real to me, definite and a box to me, can be absolutely a different occurrence for someone else. And
yes,
then we can respect each other's reality and still create what serves as a calling for us.
Yes.
Or yes. I could.
We're getting a big chance to practice that in the world right now. I'm not going to say why, but if anybody follows politics at all, you know what I'm talking about. Everywhere, not just America, everywhere. It's like, oh my gosh. So this is when it matters most, to be kind to your friends, your family. Maybe they don't see things the way you do, but I would recommend love them anyway. And we're in such a time of, it seems polarized here in America, and I think in many places in the world right now. But that's not the important. If you focus on that, you're almost on the wrong subject. It's like that's a distraction. It has to always be, how do you genuinely care about and love each other? That has to be more important than what you think people, and I don't disagree with people. If they say that's their reality, great. Let's make it the best we can for you. I'm not going to argue with them. It's sometimes that can be tempting. Please don't. I would recommend when people are learning to quantum jump, especially if you're like, hey, everyone, you can quantum jump with me. Maybe they are not ready to do this, and it's okay. So it's okay. Let's love them. Let's love everybody right where they are. It's a huge opportunity. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that brings in quite a lot of peace within, just by that one acceptance, and
Yes.
automatic energy can be channelized for the higher good of own self and all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I think today's conversation, I'm going to be, you know, it's a impression for my soul. I mean, a life transforming impression on my soul. And thank you so much for your valuable time. And I think if, if God permits, we would take it forward next level, and
Yes.
certainly uh, take that small step from our side to restore the divine order. And I think you're doing it for years, and it's a calling, recent calling for me. I have done it in my own way by performing on stage, and that was always an act as a magician. And now I am here to explore the divine magic. And that is so powerful. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you. And quantum jump is certainly one of one of the that super powerful key. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well,
God bless
yes.
you. And
Oh,
uh,